So today we are here to talk about gamification in maths, turning learning into play. I strongly feel that, gamification just breathes life into math education, transforming it from a task or a chore into a very engaging and enjoyable journey for students as well as for teachers. And therefore, I'm here to share some of my bits and bytes with you. I hope you really, your thoughts resonate. And I think Vandana has made it clear that, the chat window is available to you. Please feel free to go ahead and use that. Ask as many questions you can, and I'll pause in between at multiple places to answer your questions. So, with that, allow me to begin by saying that games and math education are like a secret ingredient. I wouldn't mind saying that. This is exactly that ingredient that makes learning more delightful and experience. And this approach actually breaks the barrier of traditional math education, which often is like a mundane and a repetitive way of doing your or solving your problems. And instead, this presents a very integral and exciting part of the world around us. And the key to gamification lies in making math relevant and fun. We can't just pick up a game to say we just gamified our classroom. It has to be a very well thought of process. You have to dwell into multiple aspects and elements. For example, fostering a positive relationship is an important part of gamification. And this relationship, positive relationship, needs to be built through games between students and the essentials of the subject. So we can't deviate from the subject, yet we need to bring it all. While I've said much about gamification, I think what I would definitely want to hear from you is what are the ways in which you bring gamification in the classroom? All of you are educators. I'm sure more than me, you have many tricks up your sleeve. So use this QR code or that link bit.ly/GIM24. It's case sensitive. I'm going to give you this in the chat window as well. So please go ahead and type and Vandana, if you can help me with this, please, because I
Yes,
know
ma'am.
that I
Ma'am,
got
just share the link with me. I'll paste on
okay,
the chat.
sure. Here I am. I'm going to give you the link as well, bit.ly/ it is case sensitive capital or uppercase GIM24. Please go ahead and just respond to this, and I'll show you what our friends had to say. So go ahead, keep your responses coming, and uh, you know, I'm going to bring to you what is it that I have received from you all over here. Here we are. Let's see what we have. The responses are just about coming in. There you go. Oh, Kahoot. How could we not mention Kahoot? How could we say gamification and not mention Kahoot? Definitely my number one, too. Bottle caps. Oh, yes, definitely. Questions. Shells. Wow, these are interesting classrooms who've joined us today. Rubrics. Oh, Rubik's. Yes. My problem, my mistake, sorry. What else? Bottle caps. Body parts. Definitely kinesthetic learning. What else? What else have you? Look how we have these words coming up. I love a pour of lot of words. Straws. Definitely. Quizzes. Why not? Multiplication with Lego. Very good. I think it's just important to capture your thoughts before we start giving you our pegs. Like it. Booklet. Fantastic. Booklet. All right. I think we're getting a lot of words over here. And number blocks. Definitely. What else? What else do we have? What else do we have? Nature things. Definitely. There are so many things around us. We don't need to go ahead and stop everything to buy something to, help gamification coming. I think we have things around us. I'm going to talk about a lot of that. Okay. Okay, somebody's given their name as well. Great, fantastic. Okay, I have new words coming in. I have Drer's blocks. Fantastic. Oh, yes, base 10 blocks. Storytelling. Oh, I'm going to stick to that. That one is my favorite. Oh, look at that. There's ice cream out there. And it's just about lunch hour is over. We are hitting the coffee hour. No, I wouldn't mind a scoop of coffee here or a scoop of sorry, ice cream, actually, coffee ice cream. Look at me already asking for coffee at 4. Yes, great, fantastic. Keep these coming because we will only make it richer as we flow through the session today. So, yes, this hour, I want to keep you buzzing. I want to keep you going. So, do keep my window buzzing and my chat window filled with answers. If you can't access this, just give away your answers in the chat window. We'll catch it from there. So, coming to, you do realize that there is a need for gamification and that you all have often deviated from the traditional methods of teaching. And, you're focused on moving away from just memorization and repetition. And the challenges that we face actually encourage us to use many methods in our classroom that will ensure deeper understanding and long-term memory retention. Now, while we do that, an effective way to connect math with with real life learning or with deep learning would be with the help of of shift in the innovative teaching methods that we have or the learning methods that we have. Gamification is one method that offers an alternative, and it's a very promising method, and it's more engaging, effective learning experience. Now, while I've said all of this, there are multiple ways in which I'm going to talk about what all benefits does this bring to us. If I talk about benefits, increasing engagement and motivation is the first thing that I see in my class. Now look at you all, so many of you joining us, and the minute we said go ahead, exercise your fingers and give me a response to it, everybody felt a little part of this room. Everybody felt that they were talking to somebody and not just viewing someone on the screen. So very important, isn't it? Well, that's why engagement is my topmost. And mathematics often is seen as an abstract and a difficult subject. And I'm a mathematics author. If I can say that, I think you'll agree with me when I say that sometimes it takes longer for students to actually get interested in math, and it's very easy for them to lose interest because it's 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 either right or wrong, as simple as that. There are not many gray areas here. So, but there's a magical solution to this, and that is that of gamification that can actually turn your math problems into fun adventures. And playing these can help you earn points, which is a great way of gamification. It'll help you reach new levels. And the award system of giving them badges, certificates, stickers, all of that is gamifying learning. So this makes students more excited to learn about mathematics, and gamification in general comes into play when we are looking for that spark in our life and the fun in our life. So the minute I say let's play a game, it excites everybody, even us at this age, right, or stage for that matter. So it's about getting anybody involved or immersed in the process of learning. And when they're excited, they understand much better. They remember it much longer. And it's not just a game. I think it's just about a great way of learning, or a great way to bring in retention without really saying, do you think you can remember a formula? How about gamifying this and putting it in a gamified way? For example, if I were you, I what I would do is, let's say I have a formula for radius, right? 2 pi r. I hope I'm right. Okay, so let's say there is a formula, and my students find it difficult to understand, difficult to retain, difficult to recall. I'm going to gamify that. I'm going to give them not only just MCQs, I would give them various formats or choices of writing that. I would give them various symbols or visualization tricks to actually remember that. So, encouraging a healthy way of learning by creating a positive classroom dynamics is very important. Gamification introduces a very healthy level of competition, either against myself I'm playing, or I'm playing with a team member against other team members, or it's just amongst pure that excitement that's there on the sports field comes into my classroom. This competitive element can be very powerful in motivating our students. It can be very powerful to encourage students to to memorize certain information that might be important for them to win. And when we put up those leaderboards, group A, group B, group C, group D, it just encourages students to work together in a group and achieve a higher level of achievement rather than looking at just about a base submission into worksheets or submission into a sum or a problem that has been presented to them. So the user not only, the students who are selecting the game, it is crucial that they ensure that there is a competition that is framed that will develop a positive light, and it has many elements of encouragement at various stages. In fact, instead of solely, aiming for outperforming others, we could actually focus at personal improvement and mastery, and therefore have certain levels of mastery that could be built and that could actually lead to higher achievement as well. One more thing that I really like about the whole concept of gamification is that it's a very personalized kind of experience. It's a learning experience wherein if we use technology or we don't use technology, it just it it can it can be tailored to the difficulty level that I am at. For example, I'm grouping my students and they're going to play a game. My group dynamics can be such that they lend to each other. They should not get intimidated by that one child in the group who's going to solve it all. Yeah, rather, we would have a group dynamics where students we know, particularly on this particular topic, struggle. They could actually have a productive struggle together. When I say productive struggle, we could be offering them clues, we could be offering them guidance, we could be offering them certain extra adaptive way of learning, and then giving them this challenge. That just brings it that productive struggle that leads to success, and they own that success. And that's where, students feel that they have achieved something higher in a very positive environment because they've had certain guidance and certain support. Therefore they feel that they feel motivated, they feel engaged, and the retention in itself will be longer if we are using these methods. um, I hope I've been able to build a scenario for why should we be using gamification. But I must say that mathematics involves tackling complex problems that requires persistence and resilience. You Students tend to give up very quickly. And gamification really helps them build these two qualities by setting up a math problem solving challenge. What we do is we are more likely to allow students to try and retry, which is normally not allowed in your worksheets or your books or your notebooks. So that's where learning to persist through difficulties comes in. And this approach can actually instill a growth mindset among students where challenges are seen as opportunities and not just burdens, right? So, what I'm looking at is taking all of these elements into account, I would like to move forward on a very, very positive note and take you many ways and show you many ways in which we can bring in gamification or we can gamify math learning. Here are some of the strategies. Now, these are some of the things that I always keep in mind. So, whenever I present to you a new scenario, what you will notice is that you will see shades and glimpses of these elements in it. Thought provocation. I cannot just give them a game to play which might not have a meaning. I want them to think when they are playing. Because if they are not thinking, they are not engaged. If they're not engaged, they're not motivated. I like to bring in physical explorations, hands on. Um, like you said, pick up things around you. Bring in formal learning material, like you could be using certain types of, like you said, based in blocks or derived blocks or whatever you're using, which is fantastic. Board games play a huge role. So we've had these, really amazing experiences with board games. Students love board games. Why students? Even we would love if I were to invite you to sit down and play with a game of Ludo or play a game of, shoots and snakes with me. You'd love to sit and play with me, and we could go on for hours. In fact, even today we have families sitting together playing these board games. And while there is so much love that these games have received, it is because of multiple elements of what I have just spoken. And while these elements, while these, the love that we people showcase for these tools exist, let's leverage and bring learning to that. How to do that? I'm going to talk to you. Interactive games, and why not? So the minute you solve something or minute you are engaged in a mathematical problem, you first want to know, am I right? Is it going right? And if you get stuck, you need some help to say, okay, now how do I move forward? And it is physically not possible for any teacher to be present for those 20, 30, 40, 50 students in the classroom. Just not possible. Therefore, technology plays a beautiful role over here, and technology can bring in a lot of interactivity. But sometimes your games are built in such a multi-step level way that from step one to step five, if the student has been able to achieve till step three, there is a sense of achievement that sets in. So interactivity in game could be multiple ways. On a virtual platform, could be a help, could be a support or guidance, or for example, we love to do this, that while the student reaches the grade sorry level 3 of complexity, we like to reward them and offer them a kind of a glimpse into how to learn deeper or further about this concept, or probably help them with a riddle, with a very quick question, to help them recollect what was to be done, so that while they're going towards the next step, we are building up their skill to tackle the next step. So that's where interactive games come in. And don't worry, I might sound a little abstract right now. As we move onwards, you will see multiple examples of this. Okay, visual representations. Can't do a session or can't do a class without visual representations. What are visual representations? Okay, let me play this with you. All eyes, all ears with me. Okay. The minute I say this, you know what happens? You actually you start looking at the screen, and suddenly, even if there is noise around you, you become more attentive. Yeah. So it's very important to use such phrases while you're talking. So all eyes and ears on me. While I say that, I would say, close your eyes and visualize your happy place. There you go. Take a minute. Imagine you have reached your happy place. That happy place could be by the sea, by the beach. It could be in the hills. It could be under the ocean. It could be in the sky. It could even be in a particular country, a state, a city, a society, maybe your home, maybe the garden in your home. Maybe it's just your own room and you sitting on the bed. There you go. What did you visualize? Share in the chat window what came to your mind. Did I really take you to a happy place? Was I able to take you where you wanted to be? Let's read some responses that we get in the chat window. Did you actually see places where when I was speaking? And when you closed your eyes first, where did you go? Let's hear from you in the chat window. Vandana, if you can help me there, please.
Yes, ma'am. My grandmother's home, my mom's house, my home's window side, my childhood home, my home with kids, my native place, to the beach, countryside, beautiful garden in winter, in a garden, quality time with my family, my balcony with my plants, my hometown, mountains.
Thank you. Keep those coming, because that's the power of visualization. The minute I tell you, let's go there, you actually go there. And that's the power that it gives you if you help students, even if physically you're not there. Mentally, when you go over there for those few minutes or seconds, You're just in your happy place. And if I give you those your happy place for even a few seconds, I think it just helps you unwind. It helps you break out of what you were thinking and travel to an amazing place. That's what visualization does for you. So the minute my students are, learning about any concept, I love to use visualization as a concept. So, an example of that. An example of that would be simplest example would be here's a matchbox, and I'm going to use multiple. Okay, here's a matchbox. Now, there are certain matchsticks in it, and it's full of matchsticks. Okay, it's a matchbox full of matchsticks. Guess how many matchsticks must be there in this box? Estimation, guesstimation, exactly what we did last time, right? Now, while we are doing this, in your mind, you must be thinking, okay, it's a small matchbox. It must have sticks. Even if the sticks are one upon the other, there should be at least two layers of sticks. So let's say there are about 7, 8 sticks in a row. It could be anywhere between 16 to 20. That's where guesstimation comes in, right? And by experience, you might know as an adult that there are these many matchsticks in a matchbox. But the minute I drive you towards visualization, it just starts building up. Yeah, that's an element that I like to keep in mind. And whenever we give them games, we don't just ask them to imagine, we actually give them a way to pause and think about and immerse them completely into that entire piece. Yeah. I'm going to pause here. Are there any questions, Vandana?
Sequence
Yeah.
and patterns.
Okay, I see a question here, Vandana.
Yes.
Can I have some?
Some ideas for LCM and HCF.
Oh, I know you're going to teach this tomorrow, so no further, waiting for more games. I'm just going to give you many, many, many games that you could actually take back into your classroom. And let me keep my fingers crossed that I have one on HCF and LCM. Otherwise, I'll try and bring it to you. Okay. So while I'm about to take you there, my games would be, somewhere around this, creating a math board game, Kahoot quiz. Yes, it's there, and you're going to play it today. If you don't know what it is, you're going to have an amazing experience. Tic-tac-toe strategy. Love it because I can give choice to my students. Scavenger hunt. Oh, the way this pans out in the classroom, there's no match to it. Riddle creations. Who doesn't like a riddle, right? Don't you? That's your riddle. Go ahead and solve it. So here's your riddle. I'm a number between 10 and 20. If you add me to 8, the result will be 18. What number am I? You're all math teachers. You're going to solve this much quicker than me. Go ahead and solve it, please. Share your response in the chat window. My eyes are glued to the chat window.
Ma'am, we are receiving response 10, most of the teachers.
Yes, okay, keep them coming. Let's see. So I'm a number between 10 and 20. If you add me to 8, the result will be 18. What is the number? It's super easy. Just wanted to draw your attention back, and therefore I got you something very simple. But you know what? Celebration is a part of gamification. So a big round of applause to all of you who answered it correctly. How do I take it forward? I break it into scavenger hunt. So within your class itself, you can play a game like this, the number 7. Look for anything that exists in sevens. Sometimes, look at the shapes, probably a sphere. So, these kind of games really get you going in the classroom. It just brings in a buzz. And yes, you will say, but you know what? Children will be all over the place. Have a timed activity. If I'm giving this in my classroom, I would say your group has 10 minutes to finish the work that you have been given. This group has at least 5 members. And if they have 5 members, one, two, three, four, and 5, once they have one ticket each in their hand, they've solved it, they're going to pick up the next one, the next one, the next one, and the next one. It wouldn't take long. And when you have a very focused and a timed approach, such scavenger hunts can become so much fun. Not only within the classroom, take them outside in the garden. I do it with leaves, sticks. So we just pick up anything that's around us. You do with bricks, you do with windows, you do with door number of doors in the corridor, you do with any kind of scavenger hunt that you can think of. So this is just about one clue to a scavenger hunt. A scavenger hunt is a game where you're giving them clues about things. For example, uh, go and mark a tree where you have a leaf combination of five leaves on a twig. There you go. So they're going to go on a scavenger hunt. This is not only looking at your surroundings, but also a scientific concept of having five leaves on a twig, a type of tree that they are looking for, and also the numbers. So we're putting everything together. Of course, this I'm talking about the younger ones. If you go about the higher grades, whenever we used to go on a field trip, I would say, even if your history teacher is taking you for a field trip, I'm going to send a math element with you. Let's say you're visiting Qutub Minar, right, in Delhi. If you're visiting Qutub Minar in Delhi, what can be the mathematical concepts that you're going to go over there? So you immediately do a scavenger hunt. And the history teacher might not have time to accommodate mathematics on the trip. Yet, my one little sheet with the scavenger hunt would give them clues to say shapes, numbers, patterns. You could think about any concept that you want to teach. Angles. I would give them so many of them. I would put these boxes, probably make a smaller one, and have just nine boxes running for a scavenger hunt. But a little bit of math doesn't hurt anybody, and it just helps bringing in that much of attention to detail. Next, I would give them a choice board. So I like doing choice boards in my class. Students love choices. You know, not everybody is very good with every sum or question that we have. So if you can share with them questions in different ways and ask them to do a tic-tac-toe. Okay, what's a tic-tac-toe? So let's say this is a tic-tac-toe. Okay, you could go ahead and solve any three in a row, in a column, across as you like it. So it's a tic-tac-toe that you play with this. Yet my placement of problems are such that in each of them there is an element of checking if they have understood the concept or not, or an element of problem solving related to the concept that I'm dealing with. So choice boards are amazing. Ideas for any math concept. This is what I found very interesting. Have a focus on Monday. Give them an error analysis. You know, you will never get time enough in your class to pause to teach them error analysis. Where did they make that mistake? How did they make that mistake? What is the most common? What are the most common misunderstandings or misconceptions, or what are the most common mistakes that students make? Think of those, put them here. Believe you me, you will see an improvement like anything in your classroom. Give them a choice board of these to solve. And I could even keep this running through the week. That through the week, I want all of this done. They're doing it on your own. They're not spending time, your class time doing that. Yet they have a problem with them to solve. On Tuesday, I would say illustrate, visualizations, right? On Wednesday, I would say writing. Very important. Because even in mathematics, language is your vehicle of conveying your understanding. And if that's your vehicle, it's upon us as mathematics teachers to develop students' language, mathematical language to convey their understanding. Open-ended questions, like I said last time. I love those. And games. Now, why I keep games on Fridays? Fridays are for fun, isn't it? So Friday, they get a game as in a game, yet I have gamified my entire week by giving them challenges enough, which keeps them invested and interested in the topics that I deal in the classroom. Yeah. Okay. Here's my next one. Oh, I love this. So there are these students in the classroom who would invariably finish their work very quickly, right? And then they would be all over the place, or they don't know what to do, or they're fiddling with their pencils and doing other things. Have math stations. So we used to have these math trays where we had math stations, and you can go ahead after you finish your work, you can go ahead and start playing. That actually gives you a motivation to very quickly finish your work and then be able to go ahead and play on those math stations. Here are some ways in which teachers have been using, and they also agree across the globe. You will see people have engaged in these routines that are there in the classroom, and students love playing on these stations. What are these stations? What do they look like? um, a very simple one here. Hello, number detectives. So it's very fetching. It invites you. It's inviting. Can you work out the code to unlock the padlock? That is the lock. To unlock the lock, you need to solve the problem that's there on the key. So if you can solve it, then it'll open. So it's an interesting way to invite students. I love this one, suspects. So we give them a problem, a kind of a word problem where we say that, so this is while we were doing measurements, we did this, suspects. Here's a situation. Somebody's been in our class last night, and we have certain footprints available. And we here are the foot sizes, the way they are kept. So they have to match the foot size to a person to arrive at who do you think visited our class yesterday? Okay, while we were not there. It's super interesting, gets my students going. Here's another one. They love codes, they love unpacking, they love secrets. So to discover the secret code, you must solve all the 8 colored puzzles and put their codes in their boxes. 8 clue cards have been provided to you on your way. So while they're coming in, we hand over the clue cards. They have to put the responses here to actually decode what the code is, the secret code. Yeah, these kind of things just excite students, and they really want to solve that problem. They want to work together or individually towards a common goal and achieve that. Here's another one. So I was actually on a round on a trip to the junior classes, the nursery classes, where students were building blocks. And I had to take my students around. I was actually substituting in that classroom, so I said, this gives me an idea. Why not build a city? So I invited my older students to sit down, and grade 3 students were actually playing with these nursery students to build the tallest tower possible. Now, once they did that, we called it a pause, blew a whistle, and said, "Wait, you just built a beautiful city. Now, can you actually count the number of blocks that are there and put them in each of these, boxes?" Now, while they wrote these numbers, we then asked them to play with this number. Of course, there were many questions around it. What is the digit? Can you do the place value on this? Okay, if you were to reshuffle and all of those, you know what I'm talking, right? Playing with numbers, literally playing with numbers. But they had a fair chance of making their own buildings. So this kind of a gamification brought in ownership. They owned the product, therefore, they were very happy to play with those numbers. Yeah. Here's another one. Symmetry. Oh, however much symmetry you teach them, it's never enough. So, in very, very young grades, we would give them cards and do stick figures, and they were asked to repeat the stick figures. And our art teacher used to help them with this. As they grow older, you can actually take symmetry anywhere. We would just have, let's say, a mirror. Half a face is what is your picture, your actual face, and the rest of the half you have to draw. It's the way you can perceive and the way you can repeat that pattern that helps you understand symmetry. And then there are a lot of negotiations that they do between, the eyes are not the same size. How can I make them the same size? Is the placement right? They start using rulers to help themselves. They start measuring. That's not a part of symmetry. Yet they start measuring, they want to do a placement. Sometimes our students have even asked for a graph sheet. So we've given them all of that, but that just helps build excitement towards a kind of a, tool, a kind of a end product. Angles, another topic which I'm very excited about. Obviously, the simplest one is put your door in different positions or windows, open them in different positions, and you'll have, a game to play. Give them the sticks, ask them to write the first letter of their name, and ask them, How many letters are there in your name? Now identify how many angles can you find in your name? How many angles does your, let's say, my name is, let's say, Rahul, Rahul, 5. Write the number 5 and now find out which all angles can you identify? What all, how many lines are there, straight lines or curved lines are there in your number? So those kind of gamification just helps you build or understanding. I'm sure you've done this in your class. I love asking them to build the tallest tower possible and using these kind of sticks. And I use marshmallows or clay becomes heavy. So spaghetti and marshmallows are my best friends, or straws and clays are your best friends. So when you said straw, make a whole structure, let them build. Sometimes they come up with shapes which I might not have in my vocabulary card, and it's all right. They can always break it down into smaller shapes or different types of shapes that they can identify. So while giving them this task, I don't structure it like this. I simply just give them straws and clay or marshmallows and spaghetti, and I ask them to build the tallest tower possible. And then I ask them, what are the kind of shapes that you can identify in this? What are the angles at which are they attached? That's when they get into the corrective mode and they start working on this. Yeah. Try it, you'll find it pretty interesting. Board games. Oh, we can never get bored of board games. Board games centered around numbers such as Monopoly, Uno, Shoots and Ladders can actually enhance mathematical skills in young students, and researchers have proven that. Why researchers have given that? Give them blank ones. Don't even fill them up with numbers. Just let them fill up. It's always not a 1 to 100 that we have to play. Let them enjoy numbers. Let them have a skip count over here. Let them have a skip count of 5 over here. Even if they are doing 4-digit number or 5-digit number, let them use this to their benefit and allow them to play, make their own rules, and have their own games at that game station. And then they can have an exchange of games and play games with each other. I love this one because this is just one, a kind of a blackboard slate, kind of a table top that has been created specially. And I love this. This is there in one of the schools. I absolutely loved it. So they placed it on top of the table so that students can do representation. So this is exactly what the visualization trick that I was talking about. Now, here are various combinations that have been made. Now, the same tray has been used for timetable. And over here, look at this. It's such a simple puzzle. It's just an adaptation of Shoots and Ladders. But what will happen is this tray or this table can be reused, and every day you can create new games. Or if you're bored of playing that games, just create a game for others to actually play and have the rules set in over here. Do you see how beautifully the rules have been written over here? The resources have been put here. You don't have to do much, and you can actually make a beautiful addition to either your class or your math labs, that you can bring in a table with just a top. Now look at that. Even a concept like graph, you can have a graphical representation on a tabletop with all your elements on the side. The learning is going to be much deeper because they're physically involved and engaged in doing all of this. Number lines. I'm sure you all love doing number lines. Number line on a table, nothing to beat that. And here's your Shoots and Ladder. Make your own. Even if your basics are there, they can play with numbers. Look at this. They played with division, multiplication, fractions, all concepts put together on that table. And that's how gamification happens, because game is what they love. Now, what's in it? You can actually increase the difficulty level and challenge them to a higher level. I love this, that I give them a blank one over here with the start and the finish. And the first question that I get asked is, ma'am, what do we do? Well, you do what you want to do with it. Simple as that. So they show their creativity into designing different types of games, board games, and they do that as a group. And this kind of mathematical knowledge, where they're drafting questions and they're also seeking answers, helps them become teachers, and also helps them think about that concept. They need to know it like the back of their hand to be able to design a game and to be able to offer not only questions but answers to that question also. So here's our favorite one. Do this because we've been hearing for so long. I can't imagine not gamifying your room, right? So try this and I'll take your responses in the chat window. This says, take your age, not mine, your age. Take your age, double it, add 10 to it, cut that into half, take away your age. This number is your green code number. Go ahead and help me tell what is your number. Once again, take your age, double it. No one likes doing that. Double it. Now add 10. Next, cut it into half. Next, take away your age, which means take away the age number, not the age altogether, but take away the number of your age. Okay. Now this is your green code. What's your number? Let's see it in the chat window. Any responses, Vandana?
Yes, ma'am. 5, 3, 5, mostly 5, 3. In the remaining part is just 10, and its half will be 5, 3, 2. Catch is if we are adding 10, the answer would be half of that. 28.
Good one. You know what? This is what
3.
happens when we give it to students. They love to crack the code. That's exactly what I was talking about. You actually caught it right. And the most beautiful part is I only wanted people to arrive at that number so that I could do the grouping. So instead of saying you're the green group or you're the number 5 table, you simply just give them this to solve. And there is excitement in the room, isn't it? Look at you all giving me a response on that. Great. Here's another one. Enter the code. So you give them a number. By the way, this is an interesting one to solve in case you want to solve. Okay, I'll give you a few minutes. Go ahead. While you're solving and in the mood of solving, solve this one now. I know that one was easy. Let's see what you do with this one. So here it says 276. One number is correct, but wrongly placed in 276. 387. No number is correct. 387. No number is correct. 368. One number is correct and well placed. 471. Two numbers are correct but wrongly placed. What do you think the number is? Go ahead and give me in the chat window. We're going to give a shout out to the first right answer. So, Vanna, I'll wait for you
Yes.
to give me a response, please.
So 164,
Okay,
368.
pause. Who said that? Who said that? Who was the first one to say 164? Let's see.
Mini ma'am. Miss
Mini
Mini
ma'am, a
Khanna.
huge shout out to you and to the rest of you who could crack it. Absolutely right. 164 is the correct one because it could satisfy all of what we were talking about, right? Fabulous and fantastic. You all are absolutely great math teachers. But you see, to get you going, you need gamification in your classroom. So while we do that, Sudoku. Nothing to beat this. Come on, I can sit for hours and do this. Literally uses numbers of 1 to 9 only once every row, column, or color. Of course, I've shown you one that is an irregular Sudoku. You could use the one that is available. You could create your own. Love it. You have them every day in the newspapers. You have books and you have platforms dedicated to it. So please don't feel shy. Sudoku is one thing that can actually bring life into your classroom. Here's another one. Think the first one that I had in my entire strategy was thought provoking. This one is completely thought provoking. So just think about it while I'm going to share this with you. Two quantities are to be measured. Which one will you be responsible for guessing? Simple. Okay. Now, the students don't focus on anything other than which one will you be responsible for is something that they don't want to hear because responsibility is a big deal. So, two quantities are to be measured. They feel some quantities are going to come here and we have to measure them. Which one will you be responsible for? And the question says the number of knots in a string or the length of the string. The next one says the audible volume of a guitar note or the time since it was plucked. So, what I'm trying to give here is the angle of a pie piece or the length of its crust. What we are trying to do over here is just help them make a choice, make a decision. And both of these questions are very much within the realms of what I have taught them. But they have a choice that just gamifies my class, gives them the power to choose to answer one and not two. The number of rotations on a wheel has turned, or the distance it has traveled. I have both in my syllabus. You could choose to answer anyone now. Now, once they've done that, and I tell them, oh, now it's time to do the other one. So that's how I gamify my classroom. I have been talking a lot, and I want to pause before I go into Olympics because this will take some time for me to talk. I really want to see if there is any question that is hanging. Any question out there?
Mm, Not as of now, ma'am. Not as of now.
Okay. So
Yeah.
as I talk about my Math Olympics, please be with me because Math Olympics is a very engaging and competitive event. And this is literally an event of the year that you could actually use to celebrate the mathematical prowess that our students have actually acquired, foster a very positive attitude towards mathematics, and provide students an exciting platform to actually showcase their skills. So if you were, till now thinking about I don't know when to do this. How will I bring it in my classroom? My timetable doesn't allow, or my syllabus or my curriculum will not allow to bring this in. Have an Olympic style event. This initiative is not just about problem solving, it is also about creating that whole atmosphere of friendly competition and celebrating the mathematical achievements. So let's say, you're hosting a mathematics Olympics. Visualize this. You have an opening ceremony. You kick off the Math Olympics with an opening ceremony, creating an atmosphere of excitement and camaraderie. Introduce a team and individual participants with creative math themed banners and flags. Now, as you do that, excitement is in the air. Now, why that happens? Try a math relay race. So we've done this a lot. Math relays is something I've done within my class. Even within 4 students, I don't need to wait for my class to go onto the field to do a relay. So what we've done is row one, row two, and row three. Let's say there are 3 rows in my classroom, and there are 2 students sitting together in those rows. What we do is pair up, solve this problem, pass it on to the next one, and then to the next one. So they must solve the mathematical problems by passing the baton to the next team members. As they do this, the first one to obviously solve wins. Yeah. Now, incorporating diverse mathematical concepts within this relay is the game of the name, ensuring that there is a comprehensive range of skills that the students are going to engage in while they are doing this. Number two, this was one. Number two, you could even have a marathon. You don't need to do it, everything in one day. You could roll it over days, or you could have a marathon running also. Let's say host time problem solving marathons. I used to do this in my class. I always had these little math what did I call them? I can't even recall the name, but there used to be these strips, mathematical math. So math madness is what we called it. Monster math is what we called it. So monster math strips were kept with them. All they had to do is a timed activity. We used to have a start and a stop. 2-minute problems, just 2 minutes. Okay, so the timed problem solving mathematics is where students have these intricate problems, or mental math problems actually, which could include anything between algebra, geometry, stats, or any of the topics, advanced topics that you have, but the time is very limited, so just 2 minutes to solve it. Yeah. Another way would be, what we've done on puzzle stations. You could have those stations out there where students are participating again in a collaborative manner. These could be physical puzzles, digital challenges. These could have strategic games that require mathematical reasoning. It could be just about anything. Another one, team quizzes. So teams competing against each other. You already know about it. I'm not going to dwell deeper. Math relay obstacle course. Oh, the fun is unlimited. The minute you bring in obstacles, who doesn't like an extra challenge, right? So teams solve the problems with different at different stations, but when they progress, they have to go through the course of they accumulate the correct answers, and they have to overcome the obstacle. Now, I've done this in my class where the obstacle was one of the examples of common misconceptions or common mistakes. So, spot a mistake. What went wrong used to be my question here, right? So, the obstacle would also be a mathematical obstacle, right? So, let's say I've been given a slip, I'll solve it, I'll send it to the next one. While I relay the baton, as the baton unpacks, the baton will not only have a problem to solve, but before you give it to next one, we're going to twist it by saying who the next one will be. It necessarily need not be in a row. They don't know whether they have to go in a row or they have to give it to the person on the right or left. That would unpack only once they have overcome the obstacle. So that could be like a math relay obstacle game that you have. And then, of course, celebrations should be huge. Please do not forget to bring in celebrations in your classroom. Your students are celebrating their understanding, their knowledge, their skills that they have honed through the process of learning. So recognize not only just the top performers or the top teams, please recognize every individual who's been able to participate, who's been able to contribute, because that is what promotes celebrating achievement promotes your own accomplishments. It builds in confidence and motivates students. It promotes teamwork. It brings in diverse skills, and it's not just about solving one sum, but it is a well-rounded assessment that happens during this kind of a diverse skill set testing. You bring in a kind of a positive culture towards math. Students look forward, and there are the anxieties that built within to solve a problem. Those become productive rather than bringing in a negative element. And of course, it brings in inclusiveness. Not every child can actually have has an ability to write and tell. Some speak, some say, some do, and some just get need a kinesthetic engagement to take it forward. So mathematics Olympics can go beyond your traditional assessments, turning it into a thrilling a spectacle that captures the spirit of both competition and intellectual prowess. So what I'm going to say is this is one celebratory endeavor that you must not miss. And if you're not doing this in your school, please take it back today. It's so important. Um, Talking about quiz, I haven't given you quizzes yet. Yeah? So here's your virtual one. Those of you who know Kahoot will know that this is your pin to play the Kahoot. Rest of you, here's your code. Here's your link, or here's your QR code to scan and play Kahoot. Go ahead. I'm waiting for you to begin playing Kahoot. Get there to the screen, and I will be there to play with you. Go ahead and please either use that link. I'll request Vanna to please share that in the chat window, or
Um,
scan this and we'll play a game. Come on, we need to play a game. We've been together, and the last 5 minutes must be utilized to get a little competition in the room, right? So let's get going. Let's get you to play an online game over here. I'm pausing for 30 seconds so that you can actually capture this link. Be there before I start the game. Ten seconds to go. Are you ready? Give me a thumbs up in the chat window if you're ready, please. Okay. I'm going to move out of here and I'm going to take you to Kahoot because my game is getting loaded. Let me just try again. 1 second. Okay. Okay. Let me just go back and see what is wrong. Well, Not when you're about to play games, this should happen. Till that, I bring in the game for you. I must show you that there are multiple games already available. You don't need to start designing one. You could simply just click on try it out. Let's say there is discover fractions over here, or you could have your own games. For example, in my library, I've been creating games. Here's the game on addition, which I wanted you to play. Let me try and start this game to see if this runs. If it doesn't, I'll have to request you to explore. There you go. It has to give you a problem the day you really want to play. So let me just give it one more shot because before you came in, I was trying to actually play and it's not private. Let me just check if it is private. It says it is private. Let me share. No, I can't find people to play right now. Okay, I think I'm missing something here. However, I've given you a platform over here. I would say go ahead and, please, I can't email it to you. No, close it. Again. mm, Okay, let's just leave it here, but I'm just going to show you how to make this game. It's super simple. Now, if you over here see over here, I've tried making this game with three questions here. Let's say, I'm going to say play solo. So I'm just going to give you a demo of what I'm doing and show you what is it that you can do. It's a very simple platform. You can go ahead and create games or use the ones that are already there. So what this does is you can play it as an individual. You could even group your students to play it. So while you do so, what happens over here is the question is presented, and you have to click on the right response. Now, as you click on the right response, I can actually show you real time in my classroom how many students have been able to get the right response. Yeah, so that's the kind of game it is. It's one of the most exciting games that I've ever seen in my class, and the best thing is I can personalize and customize it. I can make it on my own. I don't need to wait for a pre-curated game to be played in my class where some of the questions I might have to skip. Yeah. Okay, so Kahoot has decided not to cooperate with me today. However, I'll keep trying. But till then, I'm going to take you back over here and I'm going to, maybe put this on a pause. So I just want to bring together whatever we have spoken. And I also want to talk about the interactive learning that we have just engaged in. So these gamification techniques that we use in mathematics education, one, they definitely you would have realized by now that these are the interactive learning ways. These are the ultimate ways in which you can actually engage students, make mathematics interactive for them. Two, the reward system really, really helps. You don't need to have physical rewards. You don't need to have candies or toffees in your class. Literally, just have little stickers. Have different levels of stickers if you can. All I used to do is, you know what? As simple as that. Buy 5 packets of bindis in different colors. Gamify learning. Which color are you on? Are you on a red dot? Are you on a yellow dot? Are you on a green dot, purple dot, blue dot? Just have fun with this reward system. Storytelling. Nothing like storytelling. Imagine the way I took you today into the world of your happy place, and you simply just visualized it. But it's the way you tell the story. It's the way the narrative can actually integrate your concepts that you're about to teach into a story to tell that story that becomes very relatable. And a competition and collaboration piece is something that you must have. That's an essential future ready skill that we need in our classroom. Therefore, it is absolutely essential to bring those. So, your learning could be anything between interactive learning, animated challenges, customizable avatars, or as you like the learning platform to be. I'm going to pause here. Of course, that's our handle to follow in case you would like to follow and keep interacting with us. But I'm going to pause here to take more questions, comments, any thoughts. Vandana.
Yes, ma'am. Not as of now. There's one question. Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So there's one question. Teachers want the PPT. So,
Mhm.
teachers, I would like to say that we will be going to upload this session on our YouTube handle, and we will share the link so you can access the same session recording from our YouTube handle. One more question from Savita ma'am. I need ideas for LCM and HCF.
It's okay. Okay. Get me one or two questions. I'm just thinking actually. Yeah.
Please tell how to learn Kahoot.
Kahoot. Okay,
Yeah.
Kahoot would be Kahoot. Okay, I can give you a link to that. Just give me a minute. Is it all right, Vandana, if I share the link?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to share this link in the chat window. Please go ahead and use it. And I have, if I have 5 minutes, I have gamified, I've given access over here. Let's see if I'm able to help you play this. If not, then another time. Yeah. Vandana, go ahead, please.
Okay. Please show the Sudoku slide from Sudali ma'am. And one
Sudoku.
of your favorite fun thing you could suggest for early childhood and numeracy?
Oh, plenty. I could actually have another half an hour session over that. And I think my easiest one would be pick up anything around you and start using them as your resources. Gamify learning for them. They love. I love playing musical chairs with them. So musical chairs and math have a beautiful combination. I think in the last session I did share a few this thing. Yes, I did. Okay. And you know what? Like you said for HCF LCM, now if you try and look at the kind of games that I have suggested today, let's say it's a relay, or it's a clue card, or it's any of the topics that I have spoken about. Let's say Monopoly or a digital game that I've talked about. Just have those concepts. Let's say I would have in a puzzle, I would have a visual representation of HCF and LCM, and I would tell them, tell me what it is. I really wish I had that slide right now. If I have it handy, I'll show you. So, what we did was in fractions, what we did was we took a box of apples where some of the apples were missing. So in that whole box, you could see portion of the apples were missing, and they had to guess the number of fractions that you can make within that visual. So use a lot of visuals, use a lot of probably interactive elements while you're designing this. If I knew that, or a mystery challenge, for example, the clues that I give, so towards HCF and LCM, you could do a lot of elimination. I also want to tell you that there's a lot of computational thinking elements that you can bring in over here while you are playing these games. So I've done that a lot. So if you want to try ever, that's a good way. Any other question?
Uh, can we have an activity for algebra or solving fractions?
Yes, of course. Okay. Give me a minute. Let me just check if it's very handy. I will just show you. Vandana, do we have time? Because if we don't have time, then possibly this will have to wait for another time. But I'm not sure. If you can just help me. Okay, I'm going to give this away to you. Uh, when I, this is for another workshop, so don't bother too much about this. You can try this in your class, by the way, when you have to change the seats or you have to group students. I use this. I love using this in my classroom when I have to do a very random one and I want them to revise or revisit a concept. I simply just give them clue cards like this. I said, solve them and you'll find your table. So do a lot of this. I love doing this in my classroom. What else? Oh yeah, this is that visual. It was eggs. So turn and talk about what do you see in this picture? I don't give them any concept. I just tell them there are some nutritional facts over here. You can play with that. You can play with the number of missing eggs or more eggs. Now, this could be a kindergarten class to say how many missing, how many total egg boxes this box can hold, or count in groups. Probably you could bring in any concept that you want. I mean, I can turn it any which way while you are scaffolding thinking abilities and learning abilities of your students.